call the meeting to order. Can you call roll, please?
Browning.
Here.
Campbell.
Here.
Guerrero.
Here.
Hilbert.
Here.
Leeper. Here. Stahl.
Here.
Wood.
Here.
Mr. Meadows, would you lead us in the pledge, please?
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yes, Brianne Impson contacted me and would like to address the board regarding rule confusion within the buildings.
Sure. Okay, so I do have a couple of questions for you guys. I was curious if there is a way to amend the student handbook. Is that a procedure that you guys do when you make changes to certain rules or something throughout the year? Maybe they didn't make it in before everyone voted on it?
Yes, I think it says right in the first part of it that the handbook's subject to change at any time throughout the school year.
So then do you add an amendment and redo this handbook? Do you send out an email? Like, how do you let people know when something's been changed?
I'm not sure if we've ever done it, to my knowledge, during this, once we started in the school year, so I would assume that we would probably just add something to that, maybe put it on the website, send a note out to parents.
So when we started the new policy for suspending students for no masks, was there an email sent out, or how did we let parents know about that?
It was just on sort of an as-it-happened basis.
So you're letting each student know as it happens that they're going to be in trouble?
That there'll be consequences, yes.
So how about the written referral policy? Is that something all of the teachers are using or only certain teachers are using? I know there's a new policy in place that if the mask is below your nose, you will get a written referral home. Is that correct?
I can't speak to that, I don't know.
You don't know that the teachers in the building are giving written referrals if the mask is below a student's nose?
I would say that that's probably not happening.
Okay.
I think what's happening is that they'll ask the student to put the mask up onto the nose. If it becomes a repeated violation, then at that point there may be a write-up.
So they're kind of using it like as a threat. If you don't put your mask over your nose, you will receive a written referral.
I don't know if it's a threat or not, it's just,
Letting them know.
yeah.
Okay. Is there a reason that several administrators were walking the hallways in the middle school, just kind of keeping an eye on the kids the week after homecoming? I know we had a couple students, mine included, that weren't wearing masks, and then we had several administrators just kind of walking the halls, policing the classrooms in and out of the doors. Was it just to make sure the kids didn't hold their mask under their nose, or?
I think the reason that I was there, if that's what you're asking, I wouldn't think that, I think all the other administrators are probably supposed to be there. But I was there because I heard there was supposed to be a protest of them not wearing the masks, so I was there to help out.
And I
If
asked
necessary.
him, I had heard the same thing, and I asked him to please be in the building, so there was more than one administrator.
Gotcha. And then my other question is kind of like, what about the high school? Because at the same time, the homecoming games were going on. And I mean, the high school building was not being watched at all. And there are videos, pictures, social media. I mean, there are so many mask violations, not just under the nose, but under the chin, none at all, wearing on the wrist. One kid had it on his forehead. Now, were there any kind of consequences for those, or did we send an email to the high school students letting them know that this was going to be the new policy, that there would be a 3-day out-of-school suspension?
I think that after our last meeting, when you and another parent spoke, Mr. Meadows has addressed the staff since then, and the administrators who didn't address their staff. He can go into that for you. That just happened last week.
Sure.
What I did last week on Friday, I met with Jamie Antonacci, she's the SVA president, and I explained the concerns about the parents and the inconsistency with the enforcement of masks. I explained that the administration needed their help. It's not just an administrative problem, it's a faculty problem, and we all kind of have to work together to take care of it.
Including parents and students, it has to be a collaborative effort.
Sure.
So I met with her on Friday. I told her that I would meet with the principals on the following Tuesday. We were off of school on Monday. And I was going to meet with the principals, share this information with them as well, and have them meet with their entire staffs on Wednesday, which was the early dismissal
Yep.
day. So to my knowledge, they all met with their staff. They talked about the need for vigilance and consistency in the enforcement of the policy. I also asked Mr. Fleming to send an email out to the coaches and sponsors. He did that on Thursday, October 4th, basically saying everything that I have talked about here. So that's what we've done at this point.
What was the date that the teachers met with everybody?
That's Wednesday.
The principals would have met with the teachers on Wednesday, October 13th, after the dismissal.
Okay, so moving forward, then that's when we should see some of those changes.
Yes, that is the goal, yes.
Okay. And then, so another question that really doesn't have much to do with your rules, but like on Teachers Each, when my daughter was suspended, she still has a lot of participation points, like in her chorus classes and her PE. Do they just mark them in attendance, or how do they get a participation grade while they're gone?
I would have to look into that. I don't have the specifics on
Okay.
that.
Okay. So will there be an amendment, do you think, to the handbook next year that would include something about the mask so that the kids, I'm just concerned that the teachers now know, the administrators know, everyone's been talked to as adults. So now do we just, on an as-needed basis, maybe let the kids know, hey, you're doing something wrong, you're going to get suspended, or do we kind of let them all know ahead of time?
Well, that might be a better question for the administrators. If this is a surprise to your students, do you think that we're wearing masks and that sort of thing?
I don't-
I haven't really been approached with the issue in the intermediate, but my assumption would be, if I had that come up in the intermediate school, that wouldn't be my first reaction. Like, I would have a conversation with that student first and give them the opportunity and let them know, like, this is what we have to do. If we don't, this is what will happen.
So you would let the student know that they were going to be suspended before that happened? And would you call a parent?
I mean, I think I would. I mean,
If the student refused to put their mask on, you might call a parent. I spoke with a parent this afternoon that had a student in the intermediate building, and she said that Mrs. Sommer handled everything lovely with her son. So I know there's been a situation there that was rectified, and she said that you did a nice job talking to their child. So yeah, that was just my question was, are we going to let the students, so like an announcement that will be made? I think that some of them don't understand the consequence. The email I received was sit in isolation or go home. So I don't know that everyone knows yet what the consequence is going to be. I think it would be fair to let them know, like if you drink and drive, you're going to get a DUI. Or if you do this, this is going to happen. Not just like, hey, if you don't do this, you might get in trouble. Somehow there may be a consequence of some kind. So I just want to make sure that everybody is aware of what the consequence is going to be. I think that would be fair. I don't know if you guys agree with that, but I don't really have any other questions, comments, I don't think.
That's something the board, or not the board, because that's not us, the administrators can talk amongst themselves and decide what they're going to put out, put forward.
You know, the other thing was, what about our COVID emails? Like, we just don't have any more COVID in the school? Are we just not sending emails letting the parents know?
We're doing it by building.
We've
Now
had no
instead of-
COVID in any building since September 30th, I think, was the last time I got an email.
I believe that we've had some since then.
I have a child in every building and have not received one email. The last one I got was from Mrs. Summers that said there have been 3 positive cases. And I think I got that email on September the 30th, and I have not received one from the high school. I know we've had bus drivers, teachers, things like, sorry.
Have you been telling every person before, or just those affected by quarantine?
I was initially sending it out district-wide.
Yep.
And then we started handling it at the building level. Just, I felt like maybe too much email that people would maybe possibly.
So the
look at it a
policy-
whole lot.
the policy changed on
There's
how
not
you were
really a
handling it?
policy on the notification piece. But it felt like too many emails kind of numb people to the situation and maybe not take it maybe the way they should.
I think a lot of people thought that there was just a lot less COVID going on and they weren't sure, so they were surprised when kids were still,
I would say that there is.
Yeah. for sure. So, okay, I appreciate you guys' time.
All right, I need a motion to enter closed sessions for the reasons stated on the agenda. Motion made by Lori Campbell, is there a second?
Second.
Josh Hilbert, call roll please.
Campbell,
Yes.
Guerrero,
Yes.
Hilbert,
Yes.
Leeper, yes, Stahl,
Yes.
Wood,
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
All
Time?
right, I need a motion to accept the closed session minutes as read in closed session.
So moved.
Motion made by Josh Hilbert, is there a second?
Second.
Browning, call roll please.
Guerrero,
Yes.
Hilbert,
Yes.
Leeper, yes, Stahl,
Yes.
Wood,
Yes.
Browning,
Yes.
Campbell.
Yes.
Need a motion to accept the resignation of Abby Swearingen as an at-will bus monitor effective October 1st, 2021. Made by Matt Wood, is there a second?
Second.
Call roll please.
Was that Jessica?
Jessica, yes.
Hilbert,
Yes.
Leeper, yes, Stahl,
Yes.
Wood,
Yes.
Browning,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Guerrero.
Yes. Motion to employ Jennifer Williams as an at-will bus monitor, AM route only for the 2021-2022 school year.
So moved.
Motion made by Jeff Stahl, is there a second?
Yes.
Jeff Hilbert, call roll please.
Stahl,
Yes.
Wood,
Yes.
Browning,
Yes.
Campbell, Guerrero,
Yes.
Hilbert,
Yes.
Leeper, yes.
Motion to employ Sue Kaufman as an at-will bus monitor, PM route only for the 2021-2022 school year. Motion made by Matt Wood, is there a second?
Second.
Jeff Stahl, call roll please.
Wood,
Yes.
Browning,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Guerrero,
Yes.
Hilbert,
Yes.
Leeper, yes, Stahl.
Yes.
All right, consent agendas. Anyone have any questions or comments? Need a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented. Motion made by Martha Leeper. Is there a second?
Second.
Lori Campbell, second. Call roll please.
Browning,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Guerrero,
Yes.
Hilbert,
Yes.
Leeper, yes, Stahl,
Yes.
Wood.
Is Wood yes?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Sorry, Lee.
Everybody was yes.
Okay.
Sorry. Next up, me.
Yes, you, sorry, tax levy. Superintendent report.
I do have the tax levy for you today. I sent you a copy of that. Starting at the top, probably the best one to look at is the Sangamon Valley tax levy 21 payable and 22 document. Projected growth for our district EAV, I have put at 3%, which is a little bit lower than what I came in last year. But my estimate for the EAV is $101,165,295. And when we do the levy, basically what I'm doing is I'm projecting, trying to figure out how much money we're gonna need to run the school district next year. Seems a little bit backwards and strange, but that's the way it is. What's that? Yeah, the EAV, if you should know, it's the Equalized Assessed Evaluation, or Equalized Assessed Valuation. And typically on your tax bill, that comes out to roughly a third of your property value. So that would be all of our property, including farm land in the district, would go into that EAV. And so when I do the levy, again, I try to figure out how much money it's going to cost to do business next school year. In the ed fund, I levied $3,641,951. that should come out to a relatively close tax rate of 3.6, which is the capped rate. It cannot go any higher than that. I could come in here and tell you that I'm going to levy $10 million in the ed fund, but at the end of the day, I'm only going to get 3.6 of our EAV. And it actually comes out to more like 0.036, because it's based on every $100 of valuation. Operation maintenance 556,409. Transportation 202,331. Working cash, this is one of the questions that I have for you. It's 50,583, and we can address that in a minute. IMRF 68,500. Social Security 136,500. Tort 168,500. Health Life Safety 50,583. Lease 50,583. Those are all capped at a nickel, and special ed is capped at 4 cents, which came out to 40,466. So the top portion of that levy is 4,966,406. We have the 19 series working cash bond, which is 192,850. That comes out to about 19 cents. And the total tax levy, 21 payable 22, 5,159,256. That comes out to an overall increase of about $243,000 extra. And that is a 4.72 increase. The overall tax rate that I'm estimating, if the EAV comes in at roughly 101 million, will be $5 and roughly 10 cents.
What's the lease fund? That one does not ring a bell.
The lease fund just goes into the ed fund. It's money that can be used, like, for example, we lease copy machines and postal machines and
That
things like
doesn't show
that.
up on the budget.
It does. It shows up in projected revenue, and it's right at the beginning of the ed fund. We talked about that today. I'm like, if somebody asks me what the lease fund is, I'm not sure if I can tell them all. I know where it goes, but I don't know what do we do with it. So, I'm glad I checked. But anyway, it goes directly into the ed fund and can be spent on whatever we see fit in the ed fund. So the question is, again, is do you want to keep the working cash, and do we want to levy that nickel? 50,583, as I mentioned in this report to you, if a person had a $200,000 home, it would cost them roughly $33 of additional tax money to provide us with that.
A year?
Yes. To give us that 50,583. I recommend doing it just for the simple fact is that you never know how the sales tax revenue is going to come in, and I would like to keep a good surplus of money in the 60 account that we move over to pay for all of the NG work that we did. So that can help offset that if we do not receive the full 1% sales tax money that I'm hoping that we receive at the end of the school year. So I would recommend that we leave that on there. And when I come out, we get it to do business into that portion of the meeting, then I would recommend that you approve this. This has to be approved 20 days before the final adoption, which will occur during the November board meeting. And then once you guys approve it at the November board meeting, then I will file a levy at each courthouse. Probably do that on December 3rd.
Bob, what do you mean by not receive the full 1% tax fund? Is that just not as many sales taxes as last year?
Right, if something would happen and sales would slouch off, maybe there's not merchandise to even buy on the shelves.
Yeah, okay.
It could
Receive the
cause
1%,
us.
it just might be lower.
Yes.
Right.
my projection, I think last year was right around 426,000, and we were a little bit above that. So far, the numbers have been good. I'll see if I can maybe get that to you by next meeting. But I would recommend keep the working cash on there for no more than it costs our taxpayers. All right, that's all I have on that. The ESSER 3 grant, roughly $750,000 from the federal government. ISB has had that in their coffers for well over a year now. And they just opened the grant application process through Iowa. So they just opened that up over the summer. And I have submitted it. They've sent it back for corrections, and I have sent it back to ISB. And I'm sure that we'll probably send it back and forth at least a few times. According to some of the other superintendents that have been through this process, it takes a few times to get everything worked out on the grant. So that has been filed with the state board. And then our construction maintenance grant, the one that we talked about, to continue on and do the tuck pointing, continue on here at the high school, then eventually going over to the middle school and doing work over there. I have submitted that grant for $50,000. It is a matching grant, so the district would have to match. If they approve the $50,000, the district would have to match that amount. But I think it's money well spent to keep the buildings tight and dry. So I just wanted to give you a quick update on those 2 things.
Okay. And then moving into old business, we get into board goals. The final week of the board goals, I think we had a couple of spots to put in on the data source for the monthly monitoring. And then this is for final. Have those dates you have to do. I'm sorry, have those dates you will be needed.
Well, it's in goal area 1. There's 2 data sources needed there. Support the implementation of academic programs and complement enhanced learning, and hire qualified administrators, faculty, staff, and team. I don't know what the data sources really are there. And then you've got one in goal 2.2.
Like your data sources under 1.12 would be superintendent administrators. Implementation of academic programs for the, I go with the superintendent and curriculum director. And or.
And we could look out and see if they come back next year. And that'd be a good data source as well. At least for administrators. And faculty.
And then the data source for you was also going to be improving sustained facilities. Obviously, did I skip one?
2.2 is the
Yeah,
only
that's
other
right.
line we have.
Yeah, that's right.
Has to do with 1% county sales tax.
Yes. So superintendent and,
This county, what, is your county treasurers?
yeah, treasurer's report.
Okay.
Okay. Almost like you. Right, and then did we, each school has their, what do you call it?
School improvement plan?
Yes, do we have those yet?
I don't think the board has those yet. I'm sure the school was to, and I can elect them.
Okay. If we could get those to peruse, at some point, I don't know what we have on here as far as the dates for that, but we could do that at the next date, since we haven't seen them yet. So then, I guess at this point, I need a motion to approve the board goals as presented. Motion made by Martha Leeper, seconded by Jeff Stahl. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. New business. We just discussed the tax levy. We need a motion to adopt a resolution of tentative tax levy for 2021, payable in 2022. Motion made by Matt Wood. Is there a second?
Second.
Jessica Browning, call roll please.
Campbell.
Yes.
Valero.
Yes.
Hilbert.
Yes.
Weaver. Yes. Stahl.
Yes.
Wood.
Yes.
Brown.
Wood and Brown.
I sent a bid from United Glass for door replacement and repair here at the high school. The walk-through door in the shop, ag shop on the back side of the building is in need of replacement. It will not close on its own. The problem with that and the reason why they're a little bit more expensive than what you would see is two of the doors, the other one's on on the back side of the storage area for the kitchen, are going to have to be custom framed. That's just how they were installed from when the building was remodeled back in 63 possibly. So everything had to be custom ordered and custom made, so it came out to be a little bit more. And then we're also replacing the hardware on the football locker room door. It was in desperate need of repair, so I'd recommend that you approve the bid for United Glass.
You're talking about when passing inspection coming up,
The ROE just came through.
that's not the 10 years
Oh,
forward.
boy.
No, that will be in 2026.
That's it. You can use different money if it doesn't. Right, or something.
You could use health life safety money if it failed during that particular report, but it didn't get that far.
Okay.
So we need a motion to approve the bid from United Glass for door replacement and repair at the high school for the amount of $9,188. Motion made by Lori Campbell, seconded by Josh Hilbert. Call roll please.
Valero.
Yes?
Hilbert.
Yes.
Weaver. Yes. Stahl.
Yes.
Wood.
Yes.
Browning.
Yes.
Campbell.
Yes.
Last item, the Village of Illiopolis would like to use the middle school gym for their community Halloween party on October 30th, 2021.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
That's something that, did we do that last year or did we miss because of,
No, we
I
didn't
think
have-
they did it because of COVID.
they've done it for a very long time?
Yeah, very long time, for as long as I can remember.
And we had the discussion that it's held in the old gym and
Yes.
it's easy to fog and clean after they're gone, so it will be ready for Monday without a problem.
Yeah, and we're planning to do it in the afternoon because of trick or treating hours, so that'll even give,
Okay. Perfect.
3 o'clock?
Can we make sure that we have an announcement or whatever about masks since
Yes.
we're in the school building? Make sure that
Yes.
masks are worn while we're in the building.
I guess my personal thought, I mean, it's a great event, it's been done forever, but given the environment we're navigating, is it really worth the risk and exposure to have an additional event, non-school related, held in the schools?
It's,
I mean, acknowledging that we didn't do it last year because of COVID, I mean, we're still under a pandemic. We're still every day facing new challenges.
Well, think about that and like other extracurricular activities, I would say that people have a choice at that point to decide whether they want to attend or not. That would be my 2 cents on it. If you're nervous about it, you don't want to attend, don't attend.
I think the biggest thing to me, I just, everybody's had homecomings, every school's done, I mean, it's like they're right back to where everything was, whether, I don't feel like we should be, you know, I think we should still be being more careful in that, but everybody else is doing it. And I know that doesn't make it right, but I think if they are requiring masks, I think that, you know, and then we are gonna go in and I get the concern with, you're just one more indoor space, basically, where you're gonna put potentially more than 50 people. So, I do get that concern. I don't know what the answer is.
I guess I tried to keep track of the numbers through some of the updates you provided, Bob, but did we see any increase following homecoming and some of the other events that we've
Not really to speak of, no. We had the one, I believe, that might have been related to homecoming dance, but like we said earlier, the numbers are trending. I hate to even mention it, but done very well.
Okay.
And I guess, yeah, again, when you say personal, I mean, I wouldn't go, my kids were that age, I'm not gonna take my grandkids up because it's indoors. I'm gonna take them door to door and outside because I feel like they're safer there. So I hope maybe a lot of parents will be doing that, but I don't know. I think as long as we're requiring masks, we're going through the protocol of spraying everything down and making sure the school environment itself is cleaned up. I don't know. I mean, we can go around the table, well, we'll have to, I guess, maybe we should do the vote that way. We do a motion, and I'll go ahead and do roll call on this one, to allow the Village of Illiopolis to use the middle school gym for their community Halloween party on October 30th, 2021.
So moved.
Motion made by Matt Wood, is there a second?
Second.
Lori Campbell. Call roll, please.
Browning,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Guerrero,
Yes.
Hilbert,
No.
Leeper, yes, Stahl,
Yes.
Wood.
Yes.
Next regular meeting is scheduled for November 17th at 6 p.m. And at this point, I need a motion to adjourn. Motion made by Matt Wood, is that seconded by Josh Hilbert?
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?